Now, last Sunday, Adam Copeland placed his bets. He went double or nothing, and he lost. He lost everything on a jump from the top of the cage in his match with Malachi Black. He wrapped Malachi Black in barbed wire on top of a table, and he ascended, which was stupid to begin with. That was stupid thing number one that he did. And then he proceeded to ascend to the top of a very tall cage, at least 15 feet up in the air. It was a bad idea before he even jumped. Because think about it. You're standing at least 15 feet up in the air. You either dive off and you land, you splash this person who you have wrapped in barbed wire and you lacerate yourself. You fucking disembowel yourself on the way down when you land. Or you do what he did, which is you panic at the last moment as he jumped. He changed his mind. As soon as he jumped, he landed feet first. He came straight down. I thought he blew out his knees. Turned out he broke his leg. Fractured his tibia, his shin bone. Shin bone to the dome when your mama ain't home. That still lives rent-free in my head. You could thank Bryan Danielson for that. But he finished the match. Now, it was not the finish, of course, because these things never are. You do a spot like that, and then the fucking guy kicks out, which is just ridiculous. So the match continued, and he finished the match. Somehow. Adrenaline would be my guess. And ended up retaining the TNT title. We even got a cameo from Gangrel, who got screwed out of an AEW appearance a few years ago after Edge brought back the old Brood entrance at SummerSlam that year. So it was nice to see him again. He finally got that long-awaited cameo that he's been waiting for. But the way Copeland was limping out of there last Sunday and had to be helped to the back, I was thinking he blew out his ACL, or maybe he ruptured his Achilles again, which he did many years ago. But he didn't do either of those things. He broke his leg. He posted a video on social media saying, "I've been feeling really good lately, been having so much fun in the ring, and I got cocky. I guess that's really what it comes down to. My brain forgets what my body always seems to remember. A little late is that I'm 50 and I need to make better choices. So my body pulled the emergency brake on me the other night and I ended up fracturing my tibia, which is going to require surgery. Don't know the time frame on that yet." Well, at least he understands that. He can't do the same things he did at 50 that he did when he was 30 or 40. But if we're being totally honest here, it would have been equally stupid for a 30 or 40-year-old to do what he did and to come down feet first like that. He would have broken his leg. I feel like whatever age he would have been, he would have broken his leg no matter what. I almost broke my leg just watching it. But when that adrenaline gets going, I mean, it makes you do funny things. Like he said, he got cocky. He got cocky, and that's what happens. Now, I wish him well. That's typically, from what I've read, a 4 to 6 month recovery window at his age. I don't know if it might take longer. Right? It's the same thing with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is no spring chicken anymore. I mean, and look at the injuries that he sustained. I'm going to get to him in a second. Who knows? I mean, they're saying 10 months for him. It could be 10 months. It could be 18 months. Who the fuck knows? You know, it gets harder the older you get. Now, the internal reaction per PW Insider has been one of sadness and sympathy. Copeland has become a great mentor behind the scenes to a lot of people, is what the report says. And look, I think, and I said this on Tuesday, when I was doing TNT with JD, I said this on Tuesday. That is one of the reasons why he should not be doing stuff like that. All that does is make other people go, well, if he can do it, then I can do it. Or if he's doing it, then maybe it's not so crazy if I do it. See, I think people like Copeland can do a great service to these wrestlers by showing them they can get over by not doing things like that, by not feeling like I've got to do crazy stunts and I've got to jump high above from the top of the cage. You don't have to do that. You don't have to constantly be trying to top everybody else with one extreme stunt after another, or eventually this is what happens. Unfortunately, what he did do last Sunday was set an example for what not to do. But I think because of that, because he probably does have people behind the scenes who look up to him and respect his legacy and his advice and his opinions on things, and they see him go out and do the same dumb shit that some of these other guys do, and they think that in some way it validates it, that it's okay. It's not. And he should know better. And it sounds like he understands that. And again, I feel bad that he got hurt, but from the moment he wrapped that guy in barbed wire and started climbing, I said, this is not going to end well. No matter what he does, there's no way that this is going to end well for this guy. And what I think is sad also is that he won't be able to wrestle at Wembley Stadium this year, which would have been cool for him. I'm sure to be able to wrestle in front of 50 or 60,000 people for a company other than WWE. Right? I mean, he's been in front of many stadium crowds before, but never for another promotion. If he's there, he might be there. You know, he might fly out to Wembley, but it'll have to be in a non-wrestling role if he does. And before I get to the TNT title, from one broken leg to another, Copeland is not the only AEW star to break his tibia recently. Eddie Kingston broke his during that match with Gabe Kidd at the New Japan show in California several weeks ago. He also tore his ACL and his meniscus, and the update last week was that he would be holding off on getting knee surgery until his leg is able to heal and he does some physical therapy. Well, he now has a date set for surgery, and this is for the knee. So this is for the ACL and the meniscus. He will be having surgery on July 8th. And once he has the surgery for his knee injuries, he's expected to be out for a minimum of 10 months, which would put his return at May of 2025 at the earliest. Now back to the TNT title. My suggestion with what to do with this championship was to hold qualifying matches on TV and then build to a 4-way match and crown a new champion that way. That is if the Elite did not just go and hand the title over to Jack Perry on Wednesday. So that's what I said coming into it. I wasn't too far off. They teased handing the title over to Jack Perry until Christopher Daniels walked out. The same Christopher Daniels who was fired by the Elite a few weeks ago. He said that Tony Khan made him a temporary EVP, because we don't have enough of those. And when he makes announcements, we should know that it's coming straight from Tony Khan himself. And I like that, because it means we don't have to see Tony Khan on television shouting announcements awkwardly into the microphone like a dying animal. Except, I was watching Collision last night. And what do I see? I see Roderick Strong after his match walking up to Tony Khan in the back with Christopher Daniels standing right there. He goes up to Tony. They're at the gorilla position, and he's pleading his case for why he should get a shot at the AEW World title, and Tony agrees to give him a championship match with Swerve Strickland on Dynamite this Wednesday. He sold Tony on the idea of getting a title match by saying that Tony was neck strong, just like him. This is how we're making world championship matches now. Maybe it would have made a little more sense for him to go and ask Matt and Nick and have them gift him the title shot, right? I mean, after all, it was the Bucks who picked Christian Cage. And the last time we had seen Christian Cage, he had lost the TNT title to Adam Copeland. And then all of a sudden he was challenging for the world title. But you could argue it by saying, well, the Bucks are flexing their muscle. And so they awarded him a title shot, right? It was them. It was not Tony Khan. You could have done the exact same thing here. They're still EVPs. It's not like they don't have any power just because Daniels is the temporary EVP. Why not go to the Bucks? And the Bucks do the same thing, trying to fuck over Swerve Strickland again. Yeah, we'll give you a world title match. Even though he just lost his title to Will Ospreay last weekend at Double or Nothing, but they didn't do that. But that's not even the real issue I have with this. If they are going to make it obvious that Tony Khan is sitting right there at Gorilla every week, then what the fuck does he need Christopher Daniels to be the interim EVP for? Like, if they're going to walk right up to Tony anyway, what is the point? It took them all of 3 days to render Christopher Daniels completely useless, completely impotent on this show. Way to go. But they said that there would be qualifying matches for a multi-man ladder match to take place at Forbidden Door on June 30th. Konosuke Takeshita has already qualified for it with his win over Penta on Rampage. Takeshita would be a fine choice to be TNT champion. I think Ricky Starks belongs in that match as well. He'd be a great choice, but I still think it's going to end up being Jack Perry. I'm sticking by my guns here. I think Perry was going to be the one to beat Copeland for the belt. I'm telling you, it was going to be him. So this doesn't change anything other than it would have been a big win for him because of how protected Copeland has been for Perry to pin him in the middle of the ring, and now he can't do that. But I still think the title ends up on him.